Averou Immigration is a licensed and regulated immigration firm based out of Toronto. It works on student immigration, permanent residency, skilled professionals, and it also works on business immigration. You asked me about the mission. We like to look at our mission from a service perspective. So we want to build trust with our clients. We want to be transparent with our clients, and we want to also help them transform their lives through immigration to Canada. So, based on our 10 years of experience in working with students who want to come to Canada to study, we have done a lot of work to refine our suite of services. So we have noticed what works, we've noticed what doesn't work, and we've identified the needs of a student that go beyond just, a study permit application. So our core offer stays with the student throughout the cycle journey of their education goals. So from admissions to visa to post-visa services as well, we have a whole host of particular benefits that we provide to them throughout all three stages. So the ideal candidate for this offer would be somebody between the ages of 25 and 35. These could be students who have just finished their bachelor's and now want to pursue either a postgraduate diploma or a master's, or they may already have done a master's and now want to supplement their master's with a postgraduate diploma. Another ideal candidate would be somebody who finished their bachelor's, who worked for 3 to 4 years, hit a ceiling in terms of their career, and now wants to access a higher sort of level of employment by supplementing their education with a postgraduate diploma. These offers are perfect for people like those who are interested to improve their career prospects and have an experience of studying in a world-class institution in a country like Canada. Partner institutions are chosen based on their level of quality in terms of the education they provide. We also choose our partners based on how much services they can provide to students outside of the classroom, so what kind of support systems they can provide. And then we also pick schools based on their ability to provide students with a pathway towards further immigration into Canada. So eligibility for work permits and ultimately a pathway to permanent residency. So our partners are chosen with all of those factors in mind. The free admission basically means that we will help you get a letter of admission free of cost. So it's very low risk to the student. The student just has to come and express an interest. They have to qualify. We take over their documents. We compile them, we submit them on their behalf. And then if they are approved, they get an admission letter. So an admission letter is in the hand of the student at no cost to them. Once they have the admission letter, now they can decide if they want to move forward and apply for a study permit. So as I may have mentioned earlier, a lot of students don't have an idea about what they want to do in terms of the courses they want to take, the direction they want to go to. And so they may come to us and ask us for guidance, okay? All they know is they want to come to Canada to study, but they don't exactly know what's the best fit for them. Given our knowledge of all the programs there and what kind of jobs those programs can lead to, and our experience working with so many students to see their journeys, we are going to be in a very good position to advise a student about what courses they should take and can take, and not only enjoy doing them, but how it can set them up for a good career. So having a personalized admission service is important because it can guide a student towards a direction that they may not have arrived to on their own. So a lot of people underestimate the IELTS exam. They may think that they're proficient in the language, and they may very well be. But what they don't understand is it's one thing to speak English well. It's another to pass an exam, a test. This is a test. And even if you feel that you are good at English, you should definitely go, take some training, and take the exam seriously. And so this is why we think coaching for IELTS is super important. A person who is conversant in English may go in and get the bare minimum, but it's not good enough to get the bare minimum. We always advise students to work hard and maximize their IELTS score. Sure, a CLB 5, which is average score, can get you an admission or even be okay for a visa. But if you maximize those points later on in your immigration process, when you might be applying for a PR or for a job that requires a higher level of qualification, those IELTS score are going to come in handy because they're going to maximize your points on a permanent residency application. So it's very important to take this exam seriously. It's not that difficult to prepare for something like this. And why would you leave points on the board? The biggest challenge with the challenge that students face is that students don't really understand how challenging a study permit application is. So a lot of people try to do this on their own. And there's a document checklist that the Canadian government provides, and they fill out that document checklist and they think that they've met the eligibility requirements. But it's not that simple. All of these applications are being reviewed by a human who is looking at multiple factors to make a decision on your study permit application. And those factors are not going to show up on a document checklist. Those factors, we know what they're looking at because when we apply for study permits and they get refused, we get their notes, the visa notes. And those visa notes tell us exactly what an immigration officer is thinking. And so when we are working with a student, we can identify those challenges just by looking at a CV or just by looking at their age oftentimes, or what kind of career they had back home. Because a lot of those data points are going to inform the opinion of a visa officer, whether this is a genuine student, whether the student actually needs to do this degree, and what benefits that degree will provide to the student in their future. And so when we come in, we are able to do a one-on-one strategy session with the student to say you want to highlight these things, you might want to minimize these things, you might need additional support to prove A, B, or C. So that analysis is not going to be apparent to you if all you are looking at is a document checklist, which is publicly available for everyone to see. Perhaps the most important document in a study permit application is your study plan. Think of it like a statement of interest that you may write for your admissions into college, right? What makes you the best candidate for this program? Why do you want to take it? And what do you bring to the table, right? Similarly, an expression of interest or a study plan document is required by the IRCC. It contextualizes your entire candidacy for this visa. It will tell the visa officer why you took this program, how it will benefit you. It will give the visa officer some insight into whether or not you've done actual research on the program. Have you identified any courses that you're excited about? How does this particular program help you get a particular job back home? Those things cannot be apparent just by evidence that you submit alone. You need a document to contextualize that evidence. And that's where a study plan comes in. And we work very hard. In fact, we work the hardest on a study plan. An application will be made or broken on the strength of a good study plan document. Yeah, so another misconception that a lot of students have, that study permit is a sure shot in terms of acceptance once you have an admission letter. Not the case. Admission letter is just one thing that you need to apply for a study permit, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that you are going to be successful. As we discussed, there's a whole bunch of factors that go into success. So what's surprising to a lot of students is that, in fact, in Canada, the rejection rate for a study permit is quite high. So we anticipate that, although we do our level best to submit the best application the first time, the fact of the matter is what the visa officer sees, we can never anticipate that. So when a study permit does get rejected, and they do, we have a very clear process. We request the visa notes from the visa officer so that we can review why they thought the application failed. And then we go back and revise our initial application based on that feedback, and we resubmit. And in our package, the resubmission, the second application that we do for you in case of a rejection, is free. So it's included in the cost. Of course, getting a visa is a huge deal. In fact, it's one of the most exciting things for me is to see the reaction of a student once we tell them that their visa was approved. But it's really just the beginning of the journey. The real work starts once they land in Canada, especially if they don't have anybody here, especially if they are coming alone for the first time to Canada. It's a big, scary place, and it's not necessarily easy to navigate. A lot of people may have the impression that once you're in Toronto, everything will be taken care of, but it's actually quite difficult to survive. And so what we do is we coach the student once we give them the good news that this is what you should expect. These are the resources at their school. We tell them the names of the counselors that they can reach out to, their numbers, their emails. We may even tell them which neighborhoods to look at for apartments, which to avoid, how the subway system may work, where they can get their groceries cheaper, and a whole host of things that you may not think about, but are very important to know and helps the student transition into their student life better than they would have if nobody was telling them those things. Yeah, $1,000 is a lot of money, so we understand that. But the value here is that you are not just getting somebody to look over your application, submit it on your behalf, and say good luck, right? You have somebody that is actually talking to you, guiding you, explaining what can go wrong, what cannot go wrong. We talked about a lot of things that we cover, a lot of services that we provide, and we're communicating with them all the time. We actually create a WhatsApp group so the student can reach us at any time that they want. For $1,000, having somebody to make sure that they are there for you for a process that could take a year or more, I would say it's great value. So if you are considering this core offer, it probably means that you are close to making a decision on whether or not you want to make this big move. And understand that it is a big move. Leaving your home country to a strange place, it's not easy. It's really scary. But nothing in life comes without a little bit of risk. I would say you should consider this offer seriously, because the upside is that you could have a life in Canada. Not just to come and study and get educated, but really truly build something for yourself in the long run. You can continue to educate yourself. You can access Canada's amazing healthcare system, the most diverse place in North America. Companies that are global in nature can be available to you for jobs. Cultural events, the best restaurants, great infrastructure, and a peaceful place to live in. It's scary right now, but if you think about it, you don't have much to lose. At least give it a shot. And if it works out, all of that can be available to you.